Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
this is That Thing of Ours.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Wednesday, 16th of October, 2024. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give me that virtual hug. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on, X. It's been a day, guys.
Wow.
If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, who cares?
It's-
Zuckerberg, who cares? He can zuck it.
well, I mean, I would appreciate it if y'all would
Yeah.
hit buttons. Don't listen to her.
Yeah, well, hit buttons.
Yeah.
And if you wouldn't mind leaving a comment after the show, that really helps out tremendously too.
It does. It does help out.
I fell down the stairs, guys, a couple days ago, so I'm still just
A little
goofy.
loopy.
A little goofy.
She was sleepwalking.
Yeah. Let's say hi to our fam.
Mm-hmm.
Got Aaron in the house.
What's up, Aaron? How you doing, man?
Got F. Clint in the house.
Yo, F. Clint, what's going on, brother? Out there in Corruptville land, he said,
Yeah.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? How are you
Got
doing,
Brother
Bill?
Bill.
What's going on, Brother Bill?
Brother Bill.
He was saying, F. Clint was saying that they're one banana peel away from being a banana republic.
Oh, goodness. Got Mike in the house.
What's up, Mike?
Is it still freezing in Virginia? Got Ryan in the house.
Forget it was Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
No,
How you
I
doing,
didn't.
man?
I was looking down.
Oh, okay.
Got Miss Jenny in the
Jenny!
house. Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Got Miss Jan in the house.
Graham Jam. How you doing, Jan?
Saying hello to everyone on Twitch, Rumble,
Mhm.
and Pill.net. She said net.
Pill.net.
Got Dad in the house.
Hey, Dad.
Uh-oh.
How you doing?
Jenny,
Very
Jan
cold.
said it's very cold there.
My daughter in Florida was saying that
They're getting a cold front.
getting a
this
cold front
weekend.
coming in too.
Yeah.
Huh.
Ooh, it snowed a little last night. Ooh,
Snow.
keep that, Mike.
Hold
you
on.
keep that.
No, my watch says it's too early for that shit.
Yes. Yes. It says
Yeah.
Yeah, my watch says
I am in fear of this winter.
My watch says 87 degrees, and I'm okay with that.
So cold. Might have to
I
wear
do have a
jacket.
jacket on.
Kay does have a jacket on.
Yeah, I do. Because Santino keeps it like an igloo in here.
It's set to 77.
Igloo. Jenny said she had to get her winter coat out today. Was in the 40s. What
Oh,
the
no, it's
hell?
awful.
Ooh, yuck.
Ah,
Yuck.
ugh,
Ugh.
ugh.
Gross.
Brother, what's that, brother?
It
Ugh.
has been
It
nice
is nice
in Vegas.
It is nice in Vegas.
It is.
Spring and fall in Vegas
Are
are
the
the best.
best.
Absolute best.
Yeah.
Like, even if I lived in San Diego, I still loved being in Vegas during spring and fall.
Yeah.
It really is great weather.
Mike said it was a high of
High of
54.
54.
Oh, Dad said it was barely
got
got
over 60.
Yeah, you keep that too, Dad. You would rather have cold than hot? You're weird.
You're in the wrong spot, man.
Yeah. You live in the wrong place.
Consider Maine.
Yeah.
Maybe north, like Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you can bundle up in the cold, but it's still cold.
Yeah.
In Michigan, it's
how you doing, new
freezing
friend?
already.
Oh, yeah,
Ooh,
in Michigan.
yeah.
Michigan's been getting...
Ew.
When does Michigan not get beat up?
I know.
Seriously.
I know. It's
Although
like,
President Trump was like straight up gangster in Detroit the other day.
He was.
He was.
He was. And just so everyone knows, we got Light Spirit over on Pilled. We got the Joyful Lily over on Spirit. Or Pilled. God, what is my problem
okay?
today? I know. And,
What's up, Lightspear and Joyful Lily? How y'all doing?
And F. Clint went over there and did some cute little memes as well.
That's one of the fun things about Pilled.
Yeah, they got so many cool.
And then you can like make your own and
stickers
stuff, right?
Yes.
I know I haven't gotten involved. Of course, then again, I don't do social media.
You know what, Aaron? Santino's just like you. I don't wear pants. I wear shorts.
Oh,
you sickos.
I'll wear shorts in the snow. I've Zulu
seen
Foxtrot golf. I
have seen him shovel snow in shorts. Yeah.
When it was negative temperatures, I think
Yeah.
is when I finally decided that long pants were wise.
Hey, Miss Carol.
Hey, Carol. Thanks for joining.
So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. We've just been jibber jabbering here.
These lefties are losing it. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please, sir?
They'll lose everything. The bottom part.
Yes.
Okay. You figured we'd get this figured out one day.
Yeah.
Okay. Liz Cheney and the deep state fear losing everything if Trump wins.
Jan, Dad was telling us about this, that the hoe was with Brett and it was a total train wreck. It was wonderful. Sadly, all her joy was taken away. Yeah.
Kamala.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's extremely important that everybody understands something about this election. For us, we look at it, if we're on the right, we look at this as an existential threat because America is threatened. America's very existence might not continue if we lose this election. And that makes it very, very personal for us. But here's the thing. When you look at the opposition to Donald Trump, and I'm talking about not just anti-Trump voters, not people that are suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. I'm speaking specifically about the various deep staters who have an even more personal connection to this election. These are people that are essentially it's more than just the nation. You might think, well, how could it be more than the nation? It's personal to them. They believe that if Donald Trump is elected, that there's at least a chance that he and his administration will discover what they've done, discover the shenanigans that they've been engaged in for at least 4 years, if not longer. And then we'll realize, and if that happens, then many of them believe that their personal future is in jeopardy. It's not just about, the nation's going to crumble. It's about their lives are going to crumble. They're going to go to jail at the very least. Some of them think that they will, or at least they pretend to think that they're going to be hunted down. Military's going to find them and kill them under Trump. I don't think they actually believe that, of course. I think they're scared of getting busted, getting embarrassed, and going to jail. And one such person is Liz Cheney, of course. She's all in for Kamala. She claims to be a Republican. She's claimed to be a Republican for a long time. for her whole life. And yet, just like her father, she is maybe a Republican with certain stances, but as far as where her heart is strictly for the Cheneys. Her heart is for herself. She has no allegiance to the United States of America. If she has any allegiance at all, it's to the military industrial complex. It's to the deep state. It's to the uniparty swamp and the globalist elite cabal. That's why it comes as no shock, no surprise whatsoever that she was busted recently. According to Just the News, we have this posted over at jdrucker.com. According to Just the News, Liz Cheney contacted controversial J6 witness on encrypted app behind lawyer's back, messages show. Which, to be clear, I'm no attorney. That certainly sounds like, at the very least, unethical, if not actually illegal. According to the article, while vice chairman of the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot, wasn't a riot, but whatever, former Rep. Liz Cheney used an encrypted phone app to directly and indirectly communicate around defense counsel and possibly ethical rules with a witness who would later change her testimony in shocking fashion, according to evidence obtained by congressional investigators and Just the News. Cheney's signal communication with witness Cassidy Hutchinson, the star witness, on January 6, 2022, and her friend Elisa Farah Griffin from The View were recently obtained by Representative Barry Loudermilk from Georgia, chairman of the House Administration Oversight Subcommittee, that has identified significant problems with the original Democrat-run inquiry into the January 6th incident. The communications are now raising fresh concerns about the ethical conduct of that Democrat-run investigation. At the time of the communications, Hutchinson was represented by attorney Stefan Passantino, who told Just the News he did not authorize the contacts with Cheney and was not aware of them until contacted by Just the News. Cheney is a licensed lawyer in Washington, D.C., where the D.C. bar rules state unequivocally that, quote, a lawyer shall not communicate or cause another to communicate about the subject of the representation with a person known to be represented by another lawyer in the matter, unless the lawyer has the prior consent of the lawyer representing such other person or is authorized by law or a court order to do so. Loudermilk told Just the News that the communication indicates that Cheney defied her ethical responsibility and may have influenced a witness outside of her lawyer's presence, eventually causing Hutchinson to switch lawyers. And she didn't just switch lawyers, she switched sides. She became a Cheney operative. She started working on behalf of the January 6th committee instead of on behalf of the truth, instead of on behalf of America or her former boss, Donald J. Trump. She was flipped, and she was flipped secretly behind her attorney's back. Again, they're calling it unethical. I am sure, I'm almost certain that there has to be some sort of repercussion, whether it's legal or even just disbarring her. There's got to be something that can be done. But this goes to show the uniparty swamp, the globalist elite cabal, the deep state, whatever you want to call them, the various versions, various tentacles of this beast, they're terrified of what a Trump administration will find out. And that makes them very dangerous. That makes them, I would argue, more concerned than even we are. Yes, we are super concerned about the future of our nation, about our children's future, about our own future. But I don't think any of us are sitting there thinking, okay, well, if Trump loses, then I'm going to jail. However, there are people on the other side that truly legitimately believe that if Trump wins, that they are going to jail. And I would say Liz Cheney is definitely one of them. At least she should be.
Thoughts, sir?
So obviously he's not one of them Quanons. No, but it's telling. It's definitely the information is starting to come out about Liz Cheney. All of this stuff has to come together for it to make sense to so many people. And we're just not there yet. Keep in mind that, we have to be stepped, we, the people, have to be stepped to the truth, because people are just like, if they can't handle it, they can't handle it. And so, as more and more information comes out about the corrupt practices of Liz Cheney, it also pokes holes in terms of the what validity, the what is it, of the bar association.
Yeah.
It definitely calls into question their ethics at the bar association out there in DC at the very
Yeah.
least. So what's a quanon?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's one of those, it's one of those things where, like, people trust the system, and it's going to take a long time, and it's got to be step by, little pieces. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And this is one of those one bites at a time that the information is, just getting drip, 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 and then the flood. And we're getting a lot more information now than we have been, but so many more people have woken up than than where we were before. Little Lunker says, I'm so ready to watch them all go down, get arrested, and dealt with. Yeah, I got you. Trust me, I am too, because we need to get on to the business of being Americans. And
Yeah.
it's going to take a long time. Keep in mind, it's going to take us a long time to recognize what our freedoms really are and what we're really fighting for. And people have forgotten, and it's going to require sadly, some kind of education. And really, if you want to kind of put it some way, a re-education or a indoctrination from the mentality of just doing what we're told, don't make any waves. We have to get out of that. We have to get comfortable. And that's what all of us are here for. We get enough information to a certain point where we just don't care if we make waves anymore, because the waves need to be created. That's what's happening. And it's these are the kinds of bits of information that we can take and present to our friends and family to get them to communicate these things, because the corruption is still happening to this day.
Yes.
There's a good friend, I'm not going to name any names or anything. They're going through a very terrible process of like kind of losing a child right now to the system. And that's all I'm going to say on that. But we help exactly where we can. But there's only so much we can do. But the fact that it's still happening is telling me that that they still have that kind of free reign in
They
which
still
they
have their
can.
tentacles and
They
some
still have,
things.
they still have their tentacles in some things. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done, and all of these small places need to be dealt with.
You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Yes. RFK Jr. says, if you like your vaccines, you can keep your vaccines.
Ready?
Yeah.
What exactly is your vaccine position, without getting into all of the vaccines and COVID and everything? Summarize it.
Yeah, my position is that if you want a vaccine, you ought to be able to get a vaccine, but you ought to know the safety profile and the risk profile of that vaccine and the efficacy of that vaccine. And that's it.
Okay, that's good.
That's it.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Thoughts, sir?
The vaccines have been a terrible thing. I probably shouldn't have said that word, whatever, but we've been pretty lucky lately. Yeah. Hey, Agent Smith, what's going on, man? Hope you're having a great day. Anyways, so
Pop a beer and enjoy the show.
enjoy the show. Relax. Maybe smoke a blunt or something, but whatever.
Something.
Anyways, as far as the vaccines go, it's something that is a very real problem. We never had any of these things. And now, and I went to the military, and I think that they're giving these kids more than I've had all told up to this point. And I had the freaking, the anthrax twice. Twice they gave me that crap.
Yep.
Along with all the other stuff that they give you. So I can
Yes.
only imagine what's been done to my body. Do the heavy metal detoxes as best as I can. I don't know, probably, wouldn't hurt to buy some kind of clay or something, but whatever. Anyways, I know that there's more that I can do, and I need to do that stuff.
Aaron, be nice.
Aaron, for those who are listening, Aaron said Agent Smith drinks White Claws. Anyway, so what was I saying? Thanks for the sidetrack. Oh God. Anyway.
Probably has a chihuahua too. Oh goodness.
We're done.
Okay.
Thanks.
That just cracked me up.
It was funny.
Please read that.
Please refrain from being funny until after I've done blabbling for so long. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyways, longtime Democrat Bill Ackman sounds the destruction of America alarm, lists 33 grievances.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
One interesting story that came up was that a longtime Democrat donor, Bill Ackman, sounded the alarm on the list's 33 Biden, Harris, and Democrat policies that destroy America from within. Bill Ackman, of course, is famous for fighting right now in the fight against anti-Semitism. Earlier this year, Ackman, the CEO of Pershing Square Capital Management, an estimated worth of $4 billion, announced that he was considering voting for President Donald Trump. He goes on to say that in the upcoming 2024 election, he might do it. In June, when the video of Obama escorting a feeble Joe Biden off the stage at a fundraiser went viral, Ackman posted a lengthy screed on Twitter and X about how the Democrats embracing their own destruction by sticking with Biden for a second term. He also publicly blasted the Democratic Party and a mainstream media for misleading the country about Joe Biden's mental acuity and health following his disastrous debate. But Ackman explains that his commitment to the nation's welfare, not political diligence, that has pushed him to this decision to now support America by supporting Donald Trump. He listed 33 grievances that he had with the party of Kamala Harris. This is interesting to hear on why I say it's still important to vote for her. Listen to this. He says that Kamala Harris has opened the borders to millions of immigrants who are not screened for the risk to the country, dumping them into the communities where they knew immigrants overwhelm existing communities and the infrastructure to support the new tenants, or the entrance at the expense of the historic residents. This is called white replacement. He's not saying that because he's trying to be politically expedient. This is called white replacement. Number two, introduce economic policies that massively increase spending without the regard to their impact on inflation and the consequences for low-income Americans and the increase in our deficit and national debt. AKA, sometimes, especially appealing to female voters, they tend to vote for things that cost money, and minority voters, that's what they appeal to, but they don't want to pay the bills. Remember, the top 10% already pay 97% of the taxes. And I'll let you imagine who that is. Number three, the withdrawal from Afghanistan was absolutely mind-boggling. They also want to modify the bail system so that violent criminals are released without bail. That's remarkable. What could go wrong? What if the entire country was like Los Angeles, San Francisco, or New York? They also want to, down here, limit or attempt to limit the ban on fracking and LNG so that the U.S. energy costs will increase. Companies have to continue to expand and find new energy sources. We have the energy here. We should be allowed to dig into it. They also promote DEI ideologies that award jobs, awards, and university admissions on the basis of race, sexual identity, and gender criteria, and teach our students and our citizens that the world can only be understood as an unfair battle between oppressors and the oppressed, where the oppressors are the only successful due to a structural racism or rigged system, and the oppressed are simply victims of an unfair system and world. They want to educate our elementary children that gender is fluid, something to be chosen by a child, while promoting hormone blockers and unavoidable and irreversible systems of damage, right, to their sexual organs. He also said that something crazy too is that he cares about anti-Semitism. They're encouraging massive protests and riots, not only during COVID-19 and the BLM riots, but they're encouraging anti-American and anti-Israel protests. He goes on to list a bunch of requests as he cares a lot about Israel and their support for the Jewish people. And he thinks that Trump is a greater support. He also wanted to see the U.S. state and local systems to attack and attempt to jail, take off the campaign trail, or massively fine candidates for the presidency, which he hated as Kamala Harris was involved in such. Now, he lists the full things. You can find it there at thegatewaypundit.com, but it's true. I mean, what Bill Ackman's saying, I don't agree with every one of his complaints, but some of his complaints are quite obvious. You know, we live in a country that's quite remarkable, and the things that we allow in this nation, no real country would ever allow such corruption and such violence. We're not a serious nation. People just want votes, so they won't take care of the issues in the country because how do you take care of them? People don't want to comply. And that's a good reminder of the reality that we're facing every single day.
Thoughts?
So, the grievances are great. It's very well thought out. And I think that something that's more powerful is that a lot of those things line up with the list of 27 grievances that our founding fathers had. And what's sad is, and we put this on the video that we made for the 4th of July, where Kennedy read the Declaration of Independence, and in that is the list of 27 grievances that our founding fathers utilized when we separated from the tyrants over
That
in
was a Democrat,
the United
by the way.
Kingdom. That was a Democrat.
Mhm.
I mean, but people are waking up.
I know.
And these grievances, see, the thing is those grievances need to be tied directly to the Constitution. And that's what I'm
Yes,
getting
sir.
at. And that's because or the Declaration of Independence, because that's something we can all get behind, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. And I was having conversations with the young men over at school today in HVAC, and we were talking about it's not a left versus right. I can't, am I registered as a Republican? Yeah. Right. But that doesn't mean that I'm a Republican. As a matter of fact, I explained what a libertarian is. And so I said, really, in the end, I'm a libertarian. I believe that, gay or trans or whatever couple, whoever it is, I don't care, decides to get married. They can shoot off their fully automatic firearms that they own and then go do all the drugs that they want, so long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. That's what a libertarian is. And that's what most people are. At heart, it's like, you do your thing, just don't mess with me. That's all I'm asking for. Give me my space, I'll give you your space. And we all work on whatever it is that we feel we need to be working on in our lives, in the way we know how. Right. That's the American spirit, that and self-sufficiency. And we've gotten far away from that.
Ugh.
But I think that these problems wouldn't be where they're at now is if we were more self-sufficient, because we have become reliant upon the government. That's why it's so important, when they shut down a gas pipeline, we're reliant on everything else.
I know. And we have to beg.
Yeah. No, we don't have to beg. My God. I lost my train of thought again.
Really?
Anyways, Ryan, I'm just going to get to this. Ryan says, I don't vote based on party. I vote for who I believe is able to do the job and will give us what we need. Exactly. That's where most people are at.
Yeah.
Bill says, I'm just a God-fearing, freedom-loving guitar player, man, and we need more.
Yeah.
We need a lot more of that.
We do.
And that's what it is, you're freedom loving, if you love God, great. If you don't, good luck, and, do your thing. Guitar playing. If that's your thing, then do that.
Do it.
Yeah. It's, we're here to experience life.
And we're here to love our neighbors.
We are here to love our neighbors.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ready for some Kelly?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
All right.
All right. God put it on my heart to share something with you. I don't know who this is for, but I was praying and God put it so heavy on my spirit to share this, that there is somebody watching right now and you feel like you're a disappointment to God. You feel like you've been disappointing him over and over again because you've been saying, I'm going to spend time with you. I'm going to get in the word. I'm going to start spending time in prayer. And then you don't. You get too busy. You get caught up. And then you beat yourself up with guilt and shame and condemnation. Can I tell you something today? God's not disappointed in you. He's not disappointed in you at all. There is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus, and that is you. Listen, let's look at this. Let's look at this realistically. To disappoint somebody, you would have to miss an appointment with them. Does God know everything? Yes, he does. Does he know the beginning from the end? Yes, he does. Does he know when you're going to meet with him and when you're not? Yes, he does. What that means is he knew that you weren't coming today. You did not disappoint him because he wasn't waiting for you, because he knew you aren't coming. And he's not mad at you. He's not judging you for that. Listen, there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. My Bible says in James that when we draw near to God, he draws near to us. The first step is on me and you. Listen, you can have the greatest relationship with God or you can have the weakest. The choice is up to you. It's your choice whether you spend time with him or not. Does he want to spend time with you? Yes, he does. But is he mad and judging you and punishing you when you don't? No, not at all. He loves you so much. He is a good, good father. Don't beat yourself up anymore. He's not beating you up. He's not mad at you. So why are you? Let it go today. You see, your job is to be better today than you were yesterday, and to be better tomorrow than you were today. Maybe you missed that appointment, that time with him today. That's all right. You tell him, hey, I'm sorry. You repent. You change your mind. You change your direction. You say, tomorrow I'm going to do better. And you give it a shot again. And if you mess up, that's all right. You go again. You keep repenting. You keep apologizing, and you keep pressing on towards the goal. And what is the goal? To be as close to God as you possibly can. But what you don't do is buy into the lie of the devil, that God is disappointed in you, that he's angry at you, that he's punishing you, because Jesus took the punishment for us 2,000 years ago. You and I, we get peace from the Lord. We get joy. We get love. We get the goodness of God because the wrath of God was satisfied on the cross. You're not a disappointment. Oh no, he's proud of you. You're a pleasure. You're a joy. He wanted you to accept the gift of his son, and you did. You did the first step. Now keep coming to him. Keep getting close to him, and don't beat yourself up when you don't. It's going to be a good day. Amen. You are in right standing with God right now because of what Jesus did. It has nothing to do with you. You are not a disappointment. And think about that for a minute.
I say that every day. I
Yeah.
just want to be a better person today than I was yesterday.
Yeah, make me a better person tomorrow than I am today.
Hmm?
Yeah, beautiful. And that's what it really boils down to, right? Is it's like we need to forgive ourselves. God has already forgiven us. He already knows, right? And so don't, put that frustration in there. I know a lot of people here have kids and stuff like that, and you know how, you your kids may need some real forgiveness sometimes, but at the same time, you're always willing to forgive your kids. And I'm sure it's that, but to another level, right? Something that we wouldn't understand, that level of parental forgiveness, it's something that we couldn't even understand because of his divine nature. Jenny says that's all we can do. Yes, ma'am. That is all we can do. We don't need to beat ourselves up anymore. What we got to focus on is how can we do it better next time? And that's okay. So this goes back to the things that, we have been saying in the past, and maybe it's been a little bit of time. And I love that guy too, Dad. He's pretty awesome. So, if we are feeling depressed, it's because we're living in the past. If we're anxious, it's because we're living in the future. So if you are feeling depressed or sad or whatever it is about whatever you did in the past, that was then. Are you still doing that now?
Exactly.
Are those bad things still happening to you now? Yes or no? No? Okay, good. Then you have grown from that. So don't worry about those things. That's the devil inside your head talking to you, telling you that you're not worthy, you're not good, you're never going to make it, blah, blah, blah. Don't listen to that.
Don't listen to the lies.
Yeah, don't listen to those lies. What you got to listen to is the present, and that is you taking control over the conversation inside your head. That was then. This is now. I've grown beyond that. I am now focusing on creating a better future in the things that I do in the present. God, here is my vision. This is what I would like. I give my plans to you, and I give them to honor you. And then what you do with that is you say, okay, now this is what I can do in the here and now to help create that vision. So that way I am prepared to receive that gift that I am asking for.
Amen.
Ryan says, if God wanted you to be perfect, he would have made you that way. He wanted you to grow and learn.
Amen, Brother Ryan. Amen.
In a nutshell, that's pretty much it. All right, show's over. Y'all have a great night.
No,
No?
we got a lot more to go.
Oh, okay. All right.
You ready?
Round 2, fight.
Ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Indiana City overwhelmed by illegal aliens. We need some help.
Ready?
Yeah.
Logansport, Indiana, city officials are speaking out about the influx of migrants into their area, calling it unsustainable. Our next guest is a lifelong resident who says locals are not feeling safe there anymore and blames the Biden-Harris administration for what's happening in Logansport. Dave Price joins us now. Good morning to you, Dave.
Hey, good morning.
Dave.
How are you?
Good morning. I know you grew up in the small town, a population of 18,000, about 78 miles north of Indianapolis. And you went back after college to raise a family and start a business. And now what are you seeing? What are your concerns?
Well, we're just seeing a new influx of a population that Logansport is just not used to. We've had immigrants come in throughout the years to Logansport from the Mexico area. So we have a lot of Hispanics in the area, which they have acclimated very well, and they've grown their businesses and they've earned the respect of Americans, and we've respected them in return. But what we're seeing now is a little different. It's coming from a third world country coming into Logansport. And these individuals don't necessarily know the local laws or rules and how to behave here, basically. And we just ask that our local leaders, state and federal, take a look at Logansport, Indiana. We need some help here. We need some federal help. We need transparency between our local elected officials, and we need some more information and communication.
Dave, there's a local reporter that that spent weeks and weeks researching this for 6 weeks specifically, and went to the commissioners meeting. And the health department told the commissioners in your town that the schools, new students there now in large numbers, they're flying from Haiti to Nicaragua to Mexico to the U.S. Many of them are unaccompanied. Some haven't seen their parents in 7 years. In 2021, there were 14 Haitian students in the schools. In 2024, there are 207. Housing, the health department said they're worried about safety because in some of these houses, there are 20 to 25 people living under one roof. Your mayor says it's not sustainable. They need help, and they have no idea how many people are coming in. You're also worried about the safety issue. Tell us more about that.
Yes, we just want people to feel safe here in Logansport. It's been a great community to live in the last decade. Actually, it's the last century, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's been a wonderful place to raise your family and do business in. And we wanted to continue down that path.
Dave, why are they coming to this small town, to your town?
Well, I believe they're coming for employment. I can't blame them. You know, I don't blame the Haitians at all on this. This is not their fault. God bless them. They're coming from a third world country into America, land of opportunity, and you know, this is brand new to them too. They probably feel like they won the lottery in a way, and it's a new life for them, and they just need to adjust to the American life and learn to obey the laws here and how to behave.
Well, the local reporter talked to one Haitian that has a store there who used to work at Tyson Foods, which is located there. And he said he came there for the money for Tyson's food. The reporter did call Tyson's and said, how many migrant teens work for you on the third shift? And the reporter did not hear back. And you say we need a president that will enforce the border. Dave, thank you so much for coming on. We'll continue to follow this.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
I'm Steve Ducey.
Thoughts, sir?
So, surprise, surprise, people that are just dumped into towns that don't know anything about American culture and have never been exposed to it, don't really interact as well in the great melting pot that is America. Surprise, surprise. It's nice that it's being brought up. It's something that's very important. Obviously, if Fox News is showing it, this is there to wake people up and get them, to see the truth. It is difficult to try to wake people up, especially when it just takes a simple, President Trump is crazy. They're not eating cats, over there, and they're willing to accept that without
couldn't even show. It was so graphic.
yeah, it was graphic. It was on, Liberty Daily is doing a great job of getting most of the information out there, and it's awful, but. This is how we can, once President Trump gets back in office, these are the very things that will say, okay, that didn't work. Let's go back to something that worked in the past before. Oh, maybe we should vet them. Maybe we should have like a process with which people can come into this nation and they can be vetted.
Didn't we used to do that?
I think there's an entire agency for that.
Yeah. What are they doing now?
Actually, it's a whole department.
I mean,
that's supposed to secure the homeland.
I know. Like, what are they doing now?
I don't know.
I agree, Mike. Help is on the way. Day one, we will have a mass deportation, one like the world has never seen.
You're right. And a lot of people say that it can't happen. But what was it? Is it Pakistan? where they said all of them get out, and they had like 2 million migrants, illegal immigrants in one of the stands. And they said, get out or, you're going to be detained. And well, their version of justice is not as
Way different.
It's not as friendly as ours.
No.
And I will say that what they say, 75% of them left within the first 6 months without even being contacted.
Yeah.
But the military went out from day one when the order was given, and they went and they got the high value targets, basically. And if you think that our military or government doesn't know who the high value targets that are within our borders right now, you have lost your mind. I know that there are corrupt portions of this government, but just as much as there's a corrupt portion, the only way it can be balanced if there's a white hat side to that.
There's still good people.
There's still good people in the government, and we can't ever discount that. This government is filled with people who love this country, and a lot of them have a good, an amazing compass. A lot of them, some of them even, well, a lot of them have even better compass than I have. So I do believe that the problems will be dealt with, and they will be dealt with post haste once President Trump gets back into office and all of their basic shenanigans are dealt with, because we know they're gonna play games. Oh, it wasn't, it was a rigged election. People are thinking 3 months, and that was somebody who's just kind of using their own intuition and doesn't know about all of the conspiracy world. Although I did have a good wake up one this morning, and this is what I was going to say. Better timing, anyways. So every day during roll call, I'll give out a new conspiracy theory. And today's is Victoria's secret is that most of the models are dudes, and you can put that in your spank bank. And yeah, it actually.
You're saucy today.
I am.
You are very saucy
Hey,
today.
you got to stir the sauce, or it's going to burn on the bottom.
Oh, okay. Are you ready?
What's the matter with you?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Tucker Carlson. I know for a fact that the only framework that makes sense is a spiritual one.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Since I've been baptized, since being chosen, since coming to faith, I've noticed that I find it harder and harder to engage in anything else. I've had so many obsessions, so many compulsions in my life. I wonder how you are dealing with what appears to be a comparable transition. It certainly seems that something has changed in you lately. I've been watching your tour a lot, the way you talk about Jesus, and even our conversations. You were reading the Bible, I figure, when we he goes, I'm reading it for the first time, and I just wondered if you could tell us about that transformation.
Well, I mean, it was not intentional at all. And I should just say at the outset, I know nothing about theology, and I don't think I'm ever going to learn. There's something about it that bothers me. I just want to go with where I'm led. And so I didn't set out to read the Bible or become more religious or anything like that. I just felt this internal pull in that direction, and I followed it. And that's where I remain to this day. But I will say this: you can't understand what's happening in the world right now in political or secular terms, because it doesn't make sense at all. I still don't understand a lot of it, but I know for a fact that the only framework that makes any sense is a spiritual one.
Thoughts?
So interesting backdrop. They were in a cinder block walled room.
Mm-hmm.
That was strange.
Yeah.
And then he was wearing a cheetah spot jacket, talking about change, knowing that leopards don't change their spots. I don't know. I found it curious. Kay, she wrote it out here. Everyone is. Why don't you read your comment, man?
Everyone is being pulled more into the Word of God. I feel that.
I believe that.
Exactly, Jenny.
There it is, Jenny.
That is why it's called the Great Awakening.
That's why it's called the Great Awakening. Everybody's waking up. Are they going to wake up the exact same way that we are? Are they going to turn to Christ? Probably not. A lot of them might, go. They may go from no belief whatsoever to a belief that is lukewarm at best, but at least they have a faith.
I don't know. I believe Mike.
Oh, I believe people.
I believe Mike right now. God is moving across this country.
God is moving across the country, but I'm saying that there's going to be some people who just don't get it.
Right.
They still are going to have to grow. They're going to have to find out just a little bit, more difficult way. Jan says, I wish we would have a great revival. Yes,
I think
ma'am.
it's coming.
And I think that we will get there, but I think that it's going to take some years still yet. I believe that there is going to be resistance, especially with the amount of propaganda to make people not believe in God. And it's going to take people like, what's his name?
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand, thank you. It's going to take people like Russell Brand who have
Mhm.
the Namaste tattoo. You know, the people who practiced Hinduism or Buddhism or Zen or Confucianism, Zoroastrianism, whatever. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I do see that as more people turn to God, it's a different side of that 100th monkey effect, and that is that more people are waking up to the deception that's going on. But you have to see the deception before you can come to God. And then once you come to God, it takes a lot more to start to walk that path.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to find your own personal discomfort before and confront your own personal discomfort before you can take it to that next level. And I think that that's kind of the stepping process of getting people to that great revival that we are going to have. Do I believe that we're going to have a revival? 100%. I just think that it's going to be a few years down the road.
Right.
But I believe that as more and more people wake up, more people praying to God in an earnest way, so that way he would actually want to hear that groups of people's prayers. Because remember, if you're not following the path, he doesn't listen to your prayers. But when you're following the path, he listens to your prayers. And as more people follow the path that he wants for us, the stronger those prayers get. And
Yes.
then it will expand exponentially beyond that, the same way the awakening has occurred towards the very real truth about Trump is kind of saving us right now, and that our country has been run by a bunch of vampires.
Yeah.
Brother Bell says, anyone honestly seeking truth and light will eventually realize that God is our core need. 100% true. I agree that that's what it is. Mike says, my brother got baptized last Sunday. Hallelujah. Never thought I would see it. Isn't it amazing?
Amen.
And
Won't
so,
he do it?
right?
Won't he do it?
These are the things. It's going to happen. It's just gonna take a little bit more time than what we want. And I believe that Trump getting elected first, so that way the corruption can be swept away, so that way the truth can have the ability to come out. And then once people accept those truths, then people will naturally gravitate towards God.
Amen.
That's how I'm seeing it. I don't know.
Ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
The only reason the sheep think they love communists, wait, hold on, or Kamila, hold on, I gotta blow it up.
Okay.
I have to start wearing glasses. I don't want to do that. Anyways, the only reason the sheep think they love Kamila is because she isn't Donald Trump. Yeah, that's a truth.
Ready?
Yeah.
Herber.
Hey, Trevor.
I'm guessing you're voting for Kamala Harris.
Yes, my queen.
Yeah. Okay. What's her greatest accomplishment?
Well, as vice president, I'm not sure. I guess I have nothing. I'm stumped.
What is the best thing she's ever done?
I think some of the stuff she did as district attorney in San Francisco is pretty impressive.
Such as?
So like the
releasing violent offenders that ended up killing people and raping women.
No, I don't support that.
Oh yeah, okay. No, but I mean, what has she done as vice president that makes you be like, she's my queen?
Okay, sorry. Now it looks really bad because I won't answer the question.
Why should people vote for Kamala Harris?
Right now because she's not Trump.
Oh, not Trump.
Yeah.
That is so. If Mussolini was running, would you vote for Mussolini?
No. Can I explain a little bit more further?
Wait, yeah. So please, I'm curious. Why should people vote for Kamala Harris? I'm super interested, actually.
Yeah. So right now, Kamala Harris, if you look at Trump's record, how many people have left, or in prison right now, like Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, George Nader, Michael Cohen,
Navarro's
Michael
not
Flynn.
in prison, but yeah. So your argument is that a bunch of people around Trump are being targeted by a lawfare state? That's your argument?
We're going to the lawfare thing. Okay. I can see it.
No, but please tell me, why should people vote for Kamala? Give me a reason.
Oh, I don't have a reason. I'm sorry.
Right? That was my thought. And I agree with Carol. The Republican Party is not strong without Trump.
100%. It's the Republican Party wasn't the Republican Party before Trump. Since, I don't know, Reagan. The people were.
Mm-hmm.
But just like Trump said, I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me. I didn't leave the Republican Party. The Republican Party left me.
Hope!
Hey, Hope, what's going on?
We've missed you.
Anyway, the Republican Party left me. And I know that all of y'all feel the same. If you were a Republican before, that the Republican Party left you. This is not what we ever wanted. They haven't been doing the things that we want out of our society. They've been enriching themselves, and we see that. You know, they gave us, you know, the scraps that made it seem like we were, you know, doing good. You know, they gave us the, you know, as long as you towed the specific party line and you were good friends with those who were in power, then, you know, you were able to not only survive but thrive. But you still had to be a good, you know, a good little boy or girl. And that's the problem. And that's why we say I didn't leave the Republican Party. They left me. I thought this party was about, oh, I don't know, traditional values and a traditional understanding of the Constitution. That it's not a living document that you can't just change willy-nilly to fit your ideas and perspectives at that point in time. That's not how the Republican Party was ever supposed to be. They've split us. They've divided us. That's why they're falling apart. You know, if we lose political parties, I'm okay with that, because then it'll take the mindset off of partisan politics, and it'll put people back to, well, I don't care what you identify as. That applies to our politicians too. I don't care what you identify as. I want to see the fruits of your labor. Mike says, I am no longer Republican. I am MAGA. Yeah, I am too. Yeah. And they did it, not me. Don't get mad at me. I didn't do it.
They did it.
They did it.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
How about this beautiful soul
All right.
that I love with all my
Shauna.
heart? You ready?
Yeah.
You did good today. Really good. You might not see it. You might think it was just another day, but it wasn't. Every step you took today was a step forward, no matter how small. You faced challenges, you overcame obstacles, and you kept moving. Remember, every effort counts. Every bit of progress matters. Your
Thoughts?
Every bit of progress counts. It matters. It is not what you don't do. It is focusing on what you have done to change. Stay focused on the small things. It's the small little steps. So that way you don't keep falling back. You may be making 2 steps forward and 1 step back. It's progress, but it's terrible and it's not fun. The only way you can keep going is to build up that head of momentum. To get that momentum going, you have to keep focused on where you're going. 1 foot in front of the other. As soon as you stop moving 1 foot in front of the other, then you have to use all that energy to start back up again. It's like doing a race and running some and jogging and alternating between the two. Intervals. Oh, interval training is awful.
It's a
It
marathon.
does great for your cardio and it gets you ready for that marathon, but it's you get more tired that way than
This
just
is-
continuing. So you got to get that momentum going and keep moving. Go ahead.
This is definitely a marathon and not a sprint that we're going
Oh,
through.
that's true. 100%. Yeah,
And we need to remember that.
we do.
Ready?
We do. It is about understanding that the race is a very long race.
Very much. So.
And don't ever feel like you can drop your pack.
No.
Because as soon as you think that you can drop your pack, well, that's how we got to this spot to begin with, is because people started dropping their pack thinking that our politicians were some kind of saints.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You ready?
Found out otherwise.
I know. They're over there talking about food in the chat, and it's like really crazy. Like Wendy made brats and sauerkraut.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Jenny made homemade chili and cornbread. So I'm thinking the brat with the sauerkraut with the chili on top, and then
And an egg.
Hope made a rack of ribs and mac and cheese with mac and cheese on the side. I got my whole meal just ready
Jeez.
from everybody's food. I know. My dad says,
Dad says walking.
walking is my new marathon.
Well, that was because of your motto from before. Whew, ate a lot there. I'm going to go out and drive 5 miles.
My dad alone. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
This is an interesting take on the October surprise, or is this guy crazy?
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Joe Biden's a good person. I know it's crazy, but hear me out. See, we haven't had the October surprise this year. And I think that October surprise is going to come in the last week of October. My prediction is that in the last week of October, Joe Biden is going to endorse Donald Trump for president. I know you think that I'm crazy, but let's look at the facts. When asked if Governor DeSantis should answer Kamala Harris when she calls him, he simply defended the Republican governor of Florida, DeSantis. He said he's talked to DeSantis, and DeSantis is doing a phenomenal job. When they asked him about the rhetoric from Donald Trump, he didn't answer. He pivoted to international affairs. Sometimes you have to read between the lines to understand somebody's true motives. And I think Joe Biden has seen what the Democrats are willing to do to retain power for the swamp. And I personally think that on October 29th or 30th, Joe Biden is going to endorse Trump to not give Kamala any time for damage control. And also so he can't just disappear and she's made president of the United States early. That is what I believe the October surprise is going to be this year.
Thoughts?
I mean, we've said that Biden has controlled opposition for quite some time now, that he's central casting. It's Jim Carrey. It's, you know, it's what's the Teresa Barnwell's Hillary. Who's the guy that's playing Biden as the main?
Could be James Woods. Could be that
The one
British
guy that looks,
actor.
yeah, the British actor that looks just like Biden. That's the one I'm trying to think of. Venison fajitas. Oh, that sounds so good.
That sounds amazing.
Okay, apparently this has turned into a cooking show.
I know. Happy birthday, Carol.
Happy birthday, Carol. Do we need to sing?
She doesn't want us to.
I don't
Howard
think anybody-
Roberts. Thank you,
Yeah,
brother
that's
Bill.
it. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. Yeah, Howard Roberts. And it got us back on track. Thank you. Anyways, so Howard Roberts. So if we believe all of these things about President Biden, it's not that much of a stretch to say that Biden would endorse President Trump. Like Aaron pointed out, he put on a Make America Great Again hat, and he's been kind of positive towards the things that he's saying, like that man pointed out in his video, that he's been doing some pro-Trump kind of pro-MAGA kind of things. That would be an interesting October surprise. And that may not mean much of anything to you or I, because Joe Biden's endorsement on anything means absolutely nothing to us.
Mm-hmm.
But it might mean something to the people who feel like Joe Biden got screwed. Now, people know that Joe Biden isn't exactly there, so it would seal the deal that, you know, either people think that Joe Biden has lost his mind, or it has the potential to wake some people up. That would be an interesting twist, and that's kind of fun to think about. That'd be kind of funny, actually.
Hey,
It plays their
Texas
mind.
Liberty.
Hey, Texas Liberty. Thanks for joining. Texas Liberty says the cabal would no longer protect Biden if he endorsed Trump.
Hey, Miss
I agree.
Colleen.
Hey, Colleen.
And I agree, Mike. Everything Biden has done has helped Trump.
Yeah.
But so has everything that Kamala has done. Every time she opens her mouth, he gets a new ad.
Yeah. Or Biden being Biden might actually release some kind of information that would be devastating to her by accident. Oh, there's Crazy Joe, you know, but it's some kind of evidence. Who knows what's going to happen? But I know that it's going to turn a lot of people away from Kamala Harris. Dad says Biden moves are driven by his wife.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Biden doesn't even know he's alive. Doesn't even know he's alive.
Exactly. You ready?
Yeah.
Want to read that, please?
Okay. New Fortnite update allows players, children, to sell their soul to a demonic figure.
Ready?
Yeah.
You can now sell your soul in Fortnite, and this is raising a lot of controversy. So the character's name is actually Mephisto, and the way that you access him is through the underworld part of the map, and in exchange for health, you get gifts. If you sacrifice a small portion of your health, you'll get a gift, and if you sacrifice 99% of your health, you can revive your teammate from the dead. And when you make the exchange, the little animation happens where it looks like a part of you goes to him. People are saying, relax, everyone. It's just a game. And others are saying, don't care, not doing it. And there are 13-year-olds on this game. So what do you think?
Thoughts? Because that makes me sick.
So what do you think? What do you think's going on there? Why do you think they're doing that on Fortnite?
Wake parents up.
Well, possibly, but what's the other thing? If the black hats were in control, what would they try to do?
I don't know.
They're trying to get that predictive programming to get people used to. It's nothing happened on the game. It's not going to mean anything. It's to get people used to that concept. There's still a battle going on for everybody's soul.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the good thing is you can't sell your soul. That's not for you to sell. You didn't create it. You don't have rights to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, though, where it should be waking people up. Sadly, with as far as we are from our relationship with our creator, a lot of people will it's just a video game. They already started doing it. We know that's what, if they were to do something like that, it's just a game. It doesn't mean anything.
That's disgusting.
It is. Joyful Lily says, and what about the accusations against Walls, too? I wonder if that would influence anyone.
We played that.
Yeah, we did play that.
We did.
Yeah, and I do believe that we may not see mass amounts of people moving sides right now, but I do believe that there are people that are switching sides, at the very least inside their mind, but they also don't want to be ostracized from all these people who have, prop them up as something that they're really not. But people are waking up to that. And I think that these are small things that will wake some people up, but it will also send people further into a sleep. But I think that was going to happen either way.
I know.
Steph says, keep the kids and whoever else plays those games to come on over to the bad side.
That's exactly what they want.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly what they want. Jan says, after today's interview, I think that will change a lot of minds.
I hope so,
one.
Jan.
Yeah, I hope so too. Was she wearing her Bluetooth earrings?
Right.
Just a question.
Just a question. Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend, yes.
Little Lunker says, so do it for real. Amen, Santino. D is always on the hunt for fresh, young, vulnerable souls. I pray parents control this. Oh my God.
It's
yeah,
it's sad. Colleen asks.
Yes, she did.
Colleen asked, did Kamala have her interview on Fox yet? Mm-hmm. My mother-in-law had a knee replacement. Oh Lord, well, we need to pray for her. Mm-hmm. And so everybody put Colleen's mother-in-law in your prayer lists tonight.
Yes.
Please. And she said, got her knee replacement and was staying with us. So I don't know what has been happening lately. It's a lot of the same old stuff. A lot of it's getting hashed out over and over again. There are some things that have been hidden, and we really haven't had a chance to talk about it much. But even then, the information is being taken down, like the fact that Chrysler or Stellantis, the Fiat company that owns the Fiat subsidiary that owns Chrysler Corporation, is going bankrupt, and they're setting it up to sell off parts and pieces of the old Chrysler Corporation. Jeep has already shut down its factories. So yeah, that's something keeping an eye on. And I guarantee you, each and every one of those people at those Jeep factories knows who they need to vote for as well. But Detroit has been waking up something fierce lately. Yeah. I mean, he just had that rally over there, like in the heart of Detroit.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, like one of the most parts of the hood of Detroit is where he went.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is how, this is how it plays out. So there's going to be a lot of stuff in the background. Jan says, yes, she had her earrings in, but Brett was coming so hard continuously that she didn't get a chance to hear.
Okay, her mother-in-law's
Her name is Linda.
Linda. So
Thank you for
keep
sharing
Linda,
that.
and don't forget to keep Steph's daughter Paige in your prayers as well.
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Yes. Mark Halpern predicts the biggest mental health crisis in American history. Wait, hold on. Mark Halpern predicts the biggest mental health crisis in American history if Trump wins.
Ready?
Okay. Words were hard
Let's
on that one.
say Trump wins 3 weeks from today. What happens? The Democratic Party is, I mean, as you said, a lot of Democrats, maybe the majority, believe that Trump becoming president again is the worst thing that ever could happen. So how do they respond to that?
I say this not flippantly. I think it will be the cause of the greatest mental health crisis in the history of the country. I think tens of millions of people will question their connection to the nation, their connection to other human beings, their connection to their vision of what their future for them and their children could be like. And I think that will be require an enormous amount of access to mental health professionals. I think it'll lead to trauma in the workplace. I think there'll be some degree of
Are you being
protest. 100% serious. 100% serious. I think there'll be alcoholism. There'll be broken marriages. There'll be yeah. They think he's the worst person possible to be president, and having won by the hand of Jim Comey and Fluke in 2016, and then performed in office for 4 years and denied who won the election last time, and January 6th, the fact that under a fair election, America chose by the rules pre-agreed to Donald Trump again, I think it will cause the biggest mental health crisis in the history of America. And I don't think it will be kind of a passing thing that by the inauguration will be fine. I think it will be sustained and unprecedented and hideous. And I don't think the country's ready for it.
So mental health crises often manifest in violence.
Yeah, I think there'll be some violence. I think there'll be workplace fights. There'll be fights at kids' birthday parties. I think there'll be protests that will turn violent. I hope they're not, but I think there will be some. But I think it will be more. It'll be less anger and more a failure to understand how it could happen. You know, like the death of a child, or your spouse announcing that you know, your wife announcing she's a lesbian and she's leaving you for your best friend. Like a something that's so traumatic that it is impossible for even the most mentally healthy person to truly process and incorporate into their daily life. I hope I'm wrong, but I think that's what's going to happen for tens of millions of people, because they think that their fellow citizens supporting Trump is a sign of fundamental evil at the heart of their fellow citizens and of the nation. That's how they view it.
Well, that's very heavy.
Yeah. So
when I watched this video earlier today, my first thought was, he is talking about the left. And I agree with Brother Bill. I don't think that there's that many who are still out of their minds. I don't think it's going to be as bad as he thinks it's going to be. I believe, yes, there will be some ones like the meme that is still from Trump's first, win, where she was just crying in the street. Yes, this will affect some of the left. But I think so many people are waking up that it's not going to be as bad as he thinks it's going to be. Again, I believe just watching it and reading some of the comments on who he is, I think he's more into fear. And so we don't do that here. I don't think it's going to be that bad. Yes, there's going to be some crazy people out there that, oh my goodness, but the point of the matter is so many people are waking up. So many people are seeing that what Trump did in his first 4 years, he said what he was going to do and he did it. And so more and more people are going, well, wait a minute. My last 4 years have sucked. I want more of that good. And then I think JD Vance is going to take the reins, and I think it's just going to get even better.
I pray that you are more correct than me. I pray for that. And Jan says, I honestly think there are many on the left that are really on the right, but won't let you know.
I agree, Jan.
I agree. They may even be afraid to do that in private as well. I can see that. I am concerned. I do see that there are people that are still holding on to that whatever they've been told. There's still a lot of people out there, and I do believe that they will react very poorly. I think that a lot of this is to get people prepared for what could be some real civil unrest in every city in the United States.
Well, you see what Aaron says?
Aaron says, according to Q, 4 to 8% not able to be woken up. 300 million, 4% is 12 million. That's a shitload of crazy.
And I agree, Jan. Maybe she can go
Wait,
back
read
to
it, babe.
McDonald's. Jan says maybe Hills Up Harris can go back to McDonald's on November 6th. Well, she worked there, you know.
12 million people is a lot of crazy.
I know.
Okay. And they
I
will
don't
react
think it's
poorly.
that-
It'll be localized in some of the more ridiculous blue cities.
Chicago, San Francisco.
I don't know if it will be Chicago, to tell you the truth, because I think the people of Chicago are sort of kind of seeing what's going on, especially with what happened with them taking over that apartment complex over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people are fed up with it. I think it's going to be the solidly lunatic left kind of towns like Seattle and San Francisco, stuff like that. I think that that's where a lot of those problems are going to be.
Mm.
Sadly, DC.
Yeah.
I do believe it'll happen. And just off of a sheer numbers game, I'm going to say it's going to happen in your largest of cities as well, like New York City, parts of it, parts of probably Houston, stuff like that. I do believe. So just be prepared.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how people are going to react. But we also know that, getting more and more people woken up is going to minimize that.
Yeah.
Steph says, I am absolutely, Aaron, and I feel like we're going to have a shit show here shortly. Sorry if you don't agree. I'm not trying to live there. I'm just trying to be prepared. And really, in the end, that's all we're supposed to do, is to just try to be prepared. Can't prepare for everything, but if you're mentally, again, it's prepare for the worst, pray for the best.
Yeah.
And this is kind of one of those prepare for the worst kind of scenarios.
Yeah.
Have this in your head that this is something that could happen, but we're certainly going to pray and believe, but we're going to pray with all of our being that it's much more peaceful than that, because we don't want that.
Yeah.
And the people that think they want that have no idea what they think they want.
Yeah. And Wendy, she'll probably mess that up too.
Do you want fries with that? How about a hot apple pie?
And Trump is going to work at McDonald's on Sunday, I think is the date, Jan says.
Can work at McDonald's.
Yeah. Las Vegas could be a place. Atlanta could be a place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the places that you hear about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You want to read that, please?
There's something very strange about someone Kamala follows on Instagram.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Come have a look at what I just found on Kamala Harris's Instagram. If you go through the people she follows, you'll find something very, very strange. Pretty much all of them are either actors, celebrities, athletes, or political figures. But then you'll find someone called John Doe. So I did some digging on John, and you're not going to believe what I found. We know Kamala's flip-flopped on policy, but let me tell you, Big Johnny makes it pretty clear what the agenda is. Besides the traceable donations to the Dems, let me lay out why I think he could be one of the puppet masters behind their agenda. He's on the board of a number of key companies, the first of which is Google, which we now know has been extremely active in censorship, most recently when they stifled the viewership of the attempted Trump assassination and only showed Kamala search results when you'd search for Trump. He was also an early investor in Twitter, and very active in the decision making during Jack Dorsey's ownership. He's a part of Bono's One Organization, Bill Gates's The Pledge, but the most crazy involvement has to be Forward.us, which he co-founded alongside Zuckerberg. It's essentially aimed at fast-tracking citizenship for immigrants in the US, and some of the rhetoric is quite alarming. I mean, look at this.
You want to say hey, Paisan, to your Paisan?
Hey, Paisan.
There you go.
How you doing?
Thoughts?
All right. Thoughts. Yeah. I mean, it's not a surprise that she's following somebody like that. She has to give a shout out to her players. As a matter of fact, the people that these politicians follow is as close as we're going to get to the NASCAR jacket that they should be wearing of all of their sponsors.
Yeah.
Or at least we'll find out who the players are, which is even better than the NASCAR jacket with all their sponsors. It's the simple searches sometimes that can provide the most amount of information. We know that Google has been very much part of all the stuff that's been going on that is not pro-traditional American values. That's no surprise. So somebody that runs all of these various parts and pieces and is friends with, other organizations that own or people who own social media platforms, it's kind of clear who these people are. And that will make it a lot easier once the dust settles to figure out who's been a problem and who were some of the people that they're going to let us know that were pulling strings. Then I think there's people that were probably pulling their strings.
You think?
I do. But we'll get rid of some of them.
Yeah.
In the end.
You ready?
Yeah.
Want to read that, please?
Diversity Hire Harris asked about reparations. So, of course, she mentions she was middle class. Of course she did.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
My question to you is, what's your stance on reparations? We all know that America became great, off the backs of free black labor. How progressive are you on making it a priority and righting America's wrongs? It's understood that you are running for president for all people of America. Asking for specifics for black communities doesn't mean don't do for others, but black Americans are heavily asked to vote Democrat in every election for over half a century. What are your plans to address these very important issues and change that narrative?
Thank you, Zeke. I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for your work. So to your point, yes, I am running to be a president for all Americans. That being said, I do have clear eyes about the disparities that exist and the context in which they exist, meaning history, to your point. So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that. And I've been very clear about that position. In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following. One, as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed. Look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother, worked hard, raised me and my sister. And by the time I was in high school, she was able to afford our first home.
Thoughts? Or could you stay awake that long?
It's like listening to Charlie Brown's teacher.
I know. This is why I need Nick sometimes.
Oh, awful. And to go on some Charlemagne, the false god kind of thing. Jeez. Is that any surprise? The hubris of these people is absolutely amazing. Don't look forward to seeing what happens to that dude in the end. They were softball questions that were designed to play right into what she's trying to do. And this whole reparations thing,
I know.
Getting money from people who had nothing to do with what happened and giving it to a whole bunch of people who have no direct involvement in what occurred hundreds of years ago is a ridiculous notion. And then where does that stop? because there were white slaves too.
What?
I know. Call me crazy.
Crazy.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. Because I
know.
know the truth, because I've seen the evidence.
I know.
The Irish
Real
were treated
lies.
worse.
Real life.
Realize, realize, realize.
There you go.
And those are real lies. They're real lies that are designed specifically to take the resources from one group of people and give it to another group of people who did not pay for it or work for it or anything.
Exactly.
That's not going to fix anything. You just have a whole bunch of lottery winners, and where's that money going to go? Right into the pockets of the people who gave you that money to begin with.
Exactly.
These are the things that are used to buy votes. They are using the public purse to purchase votes with that very thing.
Exactly.
That is illegal.
Yeah.
That is not how this is supposed to work.
We
Because
need-
plenty of people could be asking for money.
Yeah.
And if anybody's going to get reparations first, it might be the Native Americans.
What?
Just a concept.
Wendy.
They still get treated like shit.
Wendy was happy to oblige to call you crazy.
All I had to do was ask. What?
Yeah.
Her lips were moving again, so she was lying. Yes, she was. Liar, pants on fire. There's Jenny. I love that.
I know.
Aaron says his real name is Leonard Larry McKelvey. Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
Leonard.
There you go. Joyful Lily says, we are my reparations for my Irish ancestors being slaves.
I'm sure you can apply and they'll jump right on getting it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike says he was born a poor black child. He needs his reparations.
It's yeah. Actually, if y'all have a problem with anybody, it's probably the party that's giving you this line of shit that's right going on out of their mouth right now. Because they've been lying to black people forever and a day.
What?
But the good thing is, people are waking up to the lies.
Yes, exactly.
That's what matters. Yeah, stolen. Yeah, I want reparations because they stole our government.
I agree, Aaron.
I think that's
Ghost
more
Pepper
likely
in
to
the
happen. What's
house.
up, Ghost Pepper? Ghost Pepper says, I'm celebrating early. The middle class is pissed. MAGA gonna MAGA.
Exactly. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
How you act is your fruit. Not how you pray, not how you believe, not how you worship. How you act is your fruit. So you cuss people out when you mad, that's your fruit. You cut people off when you feel disrespected, that's your fruit. I just need more grace. I just need more grace. But how you acted was your fruit. And I know this is kind of heavy because most of us want to be able to act anyway, ask God for forgiveness and not bear the consequences of what we already produced. After I bit your bitter fruit, it doesn't mean that I'm going to go away for you forever, but it does I remember what nasty fruit tastes like. And so when you try to come put your stanky hands on me to pray, I remember how you treated me when we were on that serve team together. Uh-oh.
Thoughts?
It's another way to tell the fruits of people's labor is how they act. That is your principal indicator right there. How do people respond? It's kind of like, when you go on a date with somebody, how do they treat the wait staff? How do they treat how do they treat the normal people?
Mm-hmm.
Do they think that there's something better than everybody else? That tells you got a real ego problem on your hands with the one that you're going with.
Mm-hmm.
And so these are the fruits that we need to be aware of. And these are things that used to be a primary concern for people.
Mm-hmm.
How do they act?
Yes.
Do they look their nose, look over their nose, down their nose at somebody because they're overweight? Is that a determining factor? Okay, so they may have a problem with eating. All right, maybe, but you don't know where that stems from. Also, if that's the only thing they do, if they're good on the other 612 mitzvot, I think they'll be okay, right?
Yeah.
And that's the point is Don't judge people based off of whatever it is that you personally would not do. And we should not allow other people to judge people based off of their set of moral standards or their understanding of what God's moral standards are. Who did Jesus come down and say, all right, you get to talk shit to everybody that's not doing what I want?
Nope.
I don't think anybody has been given that authority as far as I know.
No, he said, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Kind of sounds judgy too.
Yeah.
And that's judgmental.
Uh-huh.
Is when they take that anger that they have for themselves on everybody else around them.
Mhm.
They have things that they need to work on.
Amen. Amen.
So those are things that are important. And you don't need that crap in your life anyway.
Exactly.
And until they've changed, there's really no reason to take them back.
Uh-huh.
Bethany says they're realizing the real lies with their real eyes.
They are.
Yes, ma'am.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
How about some Doc?
Doc's good.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have been keeping up with the news that's not being reported on mainstream, you know that the left is in one hell of a fucking meltdown right now. Probably the biggest meltdown of this decade. Where do we begin? First of all of us affected by Hurricane Helene is still going to get to vote. Kamala Harris destroys her own argument on The View by saying that she's not going to do anything different from Biden. The New York State Court of Appeals is obliterating Letitia James's case against Donald Trump. The classified documents case is no longer an option. Kamala Harris gets Obama to campaign for her, and he quite literally pisses off every black conservative. Kamala Harris gets Bill Clinton to campaign for her, and he legit validated everything Trump has said on immigration. The Democrats threatened that they are not going to certify Trump votes, and they have been sharply reminded that so long as those votes are legal, they have to certify those votes. And then Kamala Harris does herself in even further, bragging that she has been part of almost every decision making under the Biden administration. Americans have seen what a total shit storm the Biden administration has been, and we're like, well, yeah, we don't want 4 more years of that, so we're going to go with Trump. Come to find out, the Small Business Association is broke. FEMA is severely low on funds. And then Alejandro Mayorkas spills the beans, stating that they spent hundreds of millions of FEMA money on illegal immigrants. And then these talking heads on mainstream put on this massive front like Kamala Harris's campaign is the best thing since sliced bread, that she's just winning, that she's just killing it. I mean, talk about misinformation. All while thinking, oh, if we don't report on these truthful things that are happening, that are severely damaging to Kamala, nobody will know. Yet they want to make you think that MAGA's just panicking. Bro, we're barely even trying over here.
Thoughts, sir?
They really are destroying themselves in so many ways.
Mhm.
And we're watching it happen. We're watching it happen every day. And so Doc does a great job of giving us a summary of the things that are going on, but they're screwing themselves in every which way possible. So much. And granted, some people can't see that because that's not the information that they're getting, but that's why it's on us to get that information out. And if we don't get the information out first, then invariably it's starting to look like something's going to happen to make people open their eyes, no matter how disastrous it may be, which is awful because I'm sick and tired of looking at disasters. No matter how good it is that people wake up, it's sad to have, loss of life. But these are the things that are waking people up. I wish people were less dense. I know I was.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
But remember, people are waking up at different phases than we are
Mhm.
because we're ahead of them. So
Fortunately, we were chosen to wake up a little bit earlier.
yes,
Thank you. I don't know why you chose me.
exactly. You ready?
Yeah.
Sassy's going to talk about Tim Walz.
Sassy.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Tim Walz went to a barn today. Yeehaw! Farm animals for Harris. What, no horse? He really played the part. Bro, you ain't getting a farmer vote.
Our neighbors were dying by tens of thousands because this guy's telling us to inject bleach.
This has been debunked time after time. You can't tell the truth for nothing, can you, Tampon Timmy?
First time in American history, you've got a president that is willing to let Americans suffer during a tragedy rather than providing them.
He said it, I did. Rather than providing aid. Are you trying to sling shit at Trump? Tell the truth on Joe Mala. Where's Trump? I support this message. For Hurricane Helene, it wasn't Trump's job. You see how that backfired? He's not the president. You babbling buffoons.
$1 bill to a lady to pay for his groceries. Did you see this? What he's doing there. And then I got to thinking, I think it's just natural. Any woman he sees, he pays off because he did something on there. I don't know.
I don't believe I'd be talking smack. Timbo, touchdown Timmy. If I was being accused of what you were being accused of. You know what I'm saying, Timmy? Might want to try a little shut the fuck up. Know what? Take a double dose. Take 2 teaspoons and fuck off.
Poo-poo this or whatever.
Poo-poo? And said damn 50 times during the speech, but poo-poo? Okay.
It's 21 days to deal with climate change.
You go soft shit. You can't even load your gun.
We've got 21 days to protect women's reproductive rights.
Are y'all ever going to come clean that you can't fix Roe v. Wade? Or you just going to keep lying to them until after the election?
I just want to wake up and not see him on TV.
Feeling is motherfucking mutual. Walz had an opportunity in Pennsylvania today. Speak the words that Kamala never can. Instead, he chose the Democratic default. Lie incessantly. Talk about Project 2025. Bitch about Donald Trump. Talking about turning the page. Living in the fucking past. Typical fucking dingbat Democrat.
Thoughts?
The only thing they have, well, there's a couple things they have, but to assassinate Trump's character is what they got that they can do in the public eye. The other things, well, we already know that they're probably involved with that, because who would possibly hate Trump more than that? It's not just a couple of crazies out there. These crazies don't have the intelligence to be able to pull off as much as they did pull off without some kind of assistance.
I think it's funny that he said, you know, he didn't help anyone. He just let them on their own. He's not president right now, dumbass. Your running mate is vice president and Joe Biden is the president. Good job.
Yet when did he leave people out there to die?
Never.
Like, I can't think of that scenario. But again, they accuse of the very things that they do. That's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They can't help it. But they think that it makes sense. And it for some strange reason works. That's the part that's mind-boggling to me, is how are people still like, wait, hold on. You just didn't do shit for all of the Carolinas and Tennessee and Northern Florida and Florida. What have you done other than offer loans that
$300.
Yeah, and not even give out that full loan, but you're giving out all this money. It's like, it's because people aren't paying attention. People don't see what's really going on. It's difficult to try to present all of this information because there's just so much to present.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Can you read that, please?
Ted Cruz humiliated Colin. Hold on. Ted Cruz humiliated Colin Allred over his abysmally woke record.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
He said not a word about his own record. I have to admit, the beginning of it, it reminded me of Kamala Harris in her debates, answering everything. Look, I was born in the middle class. It's some lines that sound nice that ignore his record. Let's just talk about his voting record. Again, you can go to allredfacts.com. You can see the actual votes. 4 times he has come out for men playing in women's sports, for boys playing in girls' sports. He is a co-sponsor, and he voted for a law called the Equality Act. The Equality Act mandated that boys be able to go in girls' bathrooms, in their locker rooms, and their changing rooms. He voted for it. That is his record. Number 2, there was a bill. It was a very simple bill. It was narrowly defined. It was protecting women and girls' sports. He voted no. The only issue on that bill was whether biological boys should compete against our daughters. That's not fair. Congressman Allred was an NFL linebacker. It is not fair for a man to compete against women. The 3rd time he signed on to something called the Transgender Bill of Rights. Transgender Bill of Rights explicitly, and he co-sponsored it, mandated that boys compete against girls' sports. And just 2 weeks ago, Congresswoman Congressman Allred joined 100 radical Democrats in demanding that our military allow drag shows on military bases, pay for soldiers to have sex changes using taxpayer money, and pay for children to be sterilized and have sex changes on military bases. Again, that's extreme. That's not Texas, but that is his voting
Senator,
record.
that's your time.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I mean, if that's the man's record, then that's the man's record.
I looked it up. That is the man's
That's the man's record.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprise. All right, so here's the thing.
Me too, Mike. Not a fan anymore. He
Yeah.
started out as grassroots and he's changed.
Well, he was one of the Tea
drastically.
Party
Yeah.
candidates from back when,
Exactly.
and sadly,
But he did do good there.
he did do good there, and maybe we'll actually get the real Ted Cruz that ran when he was a Tea Partier, but he's certainly been kind of swampy for some time.
Yeah.
Now, as far as what Ted Cruz was talking about, I don't have a problem with people being trans. Like, if that's your thing, that's your thing, right? But I shouldn't have to pay for it. The public purse should not pay for that. That is an elective surgery. It's not something that everybody should just be able to go and do that. But okay, throw that away. I don't believe that genetic men are allowed to go into genetic women, girls, female bathrooms or play in their sports. We've already seen the disparity. This last Olympics made it very clear that is not, it's an unfair advantage. And so if this world is about, unfair advantages, then make that very clear. We don't care. We really don't care about women or girls or any of that. We just want, wokester boys that lost and sucked at the sports that they were playing in to be able to identify as a woman and now go play in those sports where they dominate.
Yep.
Because they didn't want to get good. So they just moved to where they could be, give the
Right.
appearance of good.
Practice more.
That is not what sport is.
Exactly.
No, what that's doing is it's legalizing abuse on women by men.
Yeah.
And I disagree with that.
Exactly.
Those are the things that are important to me about that whole
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Wendy says the military should not pay for it. I don't know how it would be something. It has been proven, and it's being proven to actually cause more problems, that the suicide rate is higher for those who have gone through those surgeries than it is for the people who have not.
Yes.
That's science. That's experience, and that's something that should be drawn on. And I expect our government to be able to see statistics and understand that. If I'm not mistaken, there's like an entire freaking degree of statistics. How is it that these statisticians aren't getting the word out?
I know.
Because I'm sure that they are trying to, but surprise, surprise, they're probably being silenced, or they're being told, if you put that report out, you will never have a job again. These are the things that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
Aaron says, Ted Cruz is another rhino. I got you. Lil Lunker says, keep it away from the kids and pay for it yourself.
Amen.
Yeah, we don't need to start letting them know in kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, sixth, seventh, eighth,
Exactly.
ninth grade. Maybe you can introduce the concept
Yeah.
with parental approval.
Exactly. Wendy says when they have these surgeries, there is a lifelong commitment to medical needs.
Mhm.
Yep. Joyful Lily says, why not give them their own league?
I have no problem with that. Why don't they want their own league? You can have your special little league.
Yeah.
Or does that sound patronizing? And if that sounds patronizing to you, then why have you chosen this path for your life?
Yep. Exactly.
Because that's not patronizing to say, okay, you want to compete
You
in
do
a
you,
different, you want to compete in sports. You still like lacrosse. Okay, good. Have a league.
Yeah.
Lord knows y'all get all of this government funds. Maybe they can bus y'all around so that way y'all can play lacrosse with each other.
Get a nice little tour bus.
Get a tour bus. Make a thing of it.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that. But don't make me have to take part in it.
exactly.
And if you're using our tax dollars, then you're making all of us take part in your chosen lifestyle.
and leave our kids alone.
Yeah, and leave the kids alone.
That's it. So, Colleen has a question for you. It hasn't popped up yet for some reason.
Yeah, no, it has. I see that, Colleen. Colleen says, Santino, what are your thoughts about what I mentioned about the land grab in North Carolina?
We went over that.
Yeah,
and
we
that's
had gone over
exactly
that.
What's happening?
Yeah, BlackRock is very much involved with that. As a matter of fact, Kamala's husband is an investor in that giant lithium mine that's out there, or
Finally.
huh?
Finally, it came over.
There it is. Okay. So I think that it's corruption 101, and I hope that as when President Trump gets elected, I think that these things will be taken care of. I had not heard anything about the mudslides destroying the water table. That's something new to me, and that is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And it seems kind of strange,
Yeah.
but. I guess we'll find out more as time goes on that. But do I believe that they'll be able to do that? No. I believe that the election will keep those kinds of things from actually coming to fruition. Because, they were already talking about eminent domain and everything on day one.
Yeah.
Like the rain was still falling and they were already talking about eminent domain.
Exactly. So we've been talking about Atlanta.
Mhm.
The family's been talking about it in the chat. So I want to show this to you. Packed house for Donald Trump in Atlanta yesterday. Ready?
Mm-hmm. There you go. Thoughts. People love Trump.
That's Atlanta.
Yeah. Did we expect people not to show up to see President Trump in Atlanta? Trump has the momentum. Trump has the support. He has the backing of the people. And that's more and more apparent. Every place he goes to, it's packed houses.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't set up enough space here in Las Vegas. That's Las Vegas.
I know.
People had to stay outside of the gated area because there just wasn't enough space.
Exactly.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And these are the things, little things, even though it may look like some cities are going to be real bad, it doesn't mean that there's not an overwhelming majority of people who recognize that Kamala Harris isn't the right one. I really believe that there will, in the end, once the votes are counted, even if they try to cheat, I believe that there's going to be enough people, provided everybody gets out to vote, that President Trump can win.
Yeah.
That's the important part, is making sure the people get out to vote.
My comments aren't coming over again. I don't know what's going on today, but Mike says, I can promise you the people in the foothills and mountain areas will not let them take the land.
I believe that. And it's a scary thought, and I pray that it never comes to that, but I don't believe it will.
Exactly.
I really don't. I believe that they can't make their move until after the election.
Exactly.
They really can't.
Joyful Lily says, Independent, Bear Independent has been operating as Friendstone Ministries there, and the info he's been bringing is scary.
Whew. Okay. That's interesting.
Aaron says, Santino, I think Trump has 85 to 95% of the country.
Mhm.
Brother Bill says Trump had it in 2020. Absolutely, he did. We know he did.
We know he did.
Yeah. Joyful Lily says, as far as how contaminated everything is, it's awful. Georgia for Trump. D says, wherever he goes, rock star.
He is a rock star everywhere he goes.
Is.
He really
is. You ready? Oh, Colleen's going to vote on Saturday.
Woot woot. Get some.
Awesome.
Great. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we need to do. That's what we got to do. Got to go vote.
Gotta go vote. Ready?
Yeah.
Fear is not an emotion. It's a spiritual force, one that God, our Father, has not given us. And since he hasn't given us the spirit of fear, that means that we can overcome it. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. You ever notice how fear takes all that away? It strips you of your power in Christ. You focus more on your fear than you do on him. It darkens your heart to giving and receiving love. And it almost always makes you irrational and anxiety-ridden. You concerned about what's going on out there? The world's getting wild, right? So here's the thing. The spirit of fear cannot coexist with the spirit of the Lord. No God, no fear. And before you say it, no, the Bible doesn't say have no fear 365 times for every day of the year. But that's another post for another time. You want to remove that fear in your life, the fear that steals the peace that is yours in being a child of God? Seek him. Turn to him. Lay your burdens down at his feet. There is a peace that transcends human understanding when we place our wholehearted faith in the Lord.
Thoughts?
Okay, so I'm not going to argue that. And I know that if you do a search, fear is in there 365 times.
No, he agrees. He just says it's not for every day of the year.
Well, yeah.
That's what
Okay,
he's
so the point of the whole thing is that we shouldn't fear. That for I have not given you a spirit of fear. He's right. God did not give us that spirit of fear. And why would we fear? Oh, what's it going to do? What's it going to change? Will I add one moment to your life?
No.
We already know the answer to that. You're bringing tomorrow's trouble. Tomorrow has plenty to worry about itself. Worry about today's troubles today, right? So we need to not concern ourselves with what they might do. They can talk about all of the crap that they want to do. I talk about crap that I want to do all the time. Doesn't mean anything.
No.
It's what it is.
Got to pay attention to the signs and do what
But-
he wants us to do.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't have to accept what they want. And that's what they don't like, is because we have been accepting what they have wanted for a very long time. But as more and more people wake up to the truth every single day about the corruption that's going on and what the corrupt people do, these are the things that are making people disagree with what they want. Because what they want isn't for everybody. It's not for everybody's best interest. Trump may be no saint. I understand that.
But we don't worship him.
We don't worship him. Exactly.
Worship Jesus.
And so we pray that he does better than what he did before. And what he did before was a lot better than anything we've seen in my voting life.
Exactly.
Little Unker says, cast your cares, for he cares for you. Amen. 365 times. Fear not. Thank you.
Colleen says, Bethany, my friend is going with her church a few times a week to feed the people in the mountains. And some of the things she tells me is horrific. She cries all the time.
Oh, Lord.
That's sad.
That is sad. And Colleen, make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
It's nice that your heart is out, but sometimes you got to make sure your heart is with you and the things that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. Well,
You
to a
don't-
friend.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. But she's going through a world right now.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. It's okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
I got Preston.
All right. Could use some
We have
Preston.
exactly 20 days to save this country from Kamala Harris. Let's talk about how we're going to do it, what our pathway to victory looks like, and what everyone is asking, what's happening in North Carolina, and how are we making sure every North Carolinian has a chance to vote. And we all know this election is all about the numbers. It's going to take every single one of us to make sure we register, we show up, and we cast our vote. So let's talk about North Carolina's voter registration laws first and foremost, because they're actually rather unique. Civilian voter registration deadline in North Carolina was October the 11th. However, if you miss that deadline, you have a very unique opportunity to still register to vote. If you are not registered in the county that you live in, you can do what is called early in-person voter registration, which begins this Thursday, October 17th. What that looks like is you go to an early in-person voter registration location, which can be found on the North Carolina State Board of Election website. You can register to vote and cast your ballot the same day. You can do that up through November the 2nd. Now, what everyone is wondering is what's happening with these 27 counties who are under a state of emergency, and we know that 24 of those 27 counties did vote for President Trump in the 2020 election. In short, the answer is quite a bit is being done to make sure every single voter has the chance to have their voice heard. I've tagged a creator here, Margot. If you do not follow her, you most certainly should. But Margot is a very large part of the NCGOP and has a lot more information on exactly what this looks like. First, let's break down the numbers as we've done before. We know that an estimated 1.2 million already registered voters exist in those 27 counties, and almost 800,000 are either Republicans or unaffiliated voters. North Carolina State Legislature has done is they have provided each of those counties an opportunity to make the decision on their own as to what is needed for their respective counties to ensure these voters have the ability to vote. In each of those counties, there is a bipartisan group of individuals who are making the decisions on what that specific county needs. As you can imagine, every county is different. Some of those polling locations no longer exist anymore, whereas others just simply need more expansion of voting hours, etc. Some of those counties have already made decisions. Some have not made decisions yet because they're still surveying their counties to determine what those needs are. In addition to that, North Carolina is allowing absentee voters to vote even if they are not in the county. So what that looks like is if you were disrupted by Hurricane Helene and you are unable to get to one of these polling locations in the counties that are under a state of emergency, you can request to have an absentee ballot sent to any address. As long as you return that absentee ballot by election day, then your vote is still counted. While the biggest challenge in North Carolina is not actually voter access, the greater challenge is getting the message out to those individuals who have been displaced or impacted by Hurricane Helene to let them know of what changes have been made at the county level to expand their access. And lastly, while we continue to shift our focus towards getting individuals out to vote, it is incredibly important to remember that many North Carolinians are still sleeping on the ground. Many North Carolinians still do not have the basic necessities. We've done an incredible job through this platform and giving to the Franklin County Sheriff's Department. However, those needs still exist. The link is still in my bio to the Amazon wish list for the Franklin County Sheriff's Department. If you wish to continue to give or purchase supplies off of that list, and they will be sent directly to the Sheriff's Department, please do so, but only if you're able to. And I will end with this. Again, we all know that this election is all about the numbers. Many states, in fact, most states, you are still eligible to register to vote if you haven't already. So please make sure you visit swampthevoteusa.com or your State Board of Elections website to make sure that you are registered to vote if you aren't already, or to check your voter registration status. Can President Trump win this election? 100%. Will President Trump win this election? Absolutely. If every single one of us shows up and votes, whether that be mail voting, absentee voting, in-person early voting, or voting on election day, your vote does count. Your vote does matter. Much love. God bless.
Thoughts?
If that's the most important part, if you get out there and vote, and you know what, if all you can do is do an absentee ballot because that's the situation you're in, do that. Do your part. If you have to vote early, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's some good points being brought up. There's a possibility they might find something to shut down that polling location.
Yeah.
That's a possibility too. Do what you're led to do and vote how you are led to vote, be it on a day, via mail, whatever. Carry your pigeon. I don't care. I just want to make sure people get out to vote and that their vote is counted. That's kind of the part that we have issues with. I understand that. But if you don't get out to vote, then you don't even give it a chance to be counted.
Yeah.
It's not like playing the lottery, but at the same time, you can't win the lottery unless you buy a ticket.
Exactly.
Brother Bill says, Trump said something about voting January 5th the other day. Was it a slip or a calm? Huh. That's interesting. I'll look something up real quick. Go ahead. Talk amongst yourself.
I'm going to play the next video. Mike says, I believe the first vote will happen on 11/5.
Okay.
We do. I agree, Little Lunker. Little Lunker says we need people to vote. We absolutely, positively do.
Oh, and then just as a side note, I'm sure that there will be more information about this coming out. Just keeping my eye on the news. Of course, you're going to give me an ad. Okay, One Direction. Liam Payne dead at 31. Singer falls from hotel balcony in Argentina. And of course, TMZ posted a body pic. Of course they would.
Ugh.
Cat eats fox. Uh-huh.
Sure.
This is what the left says. Anyways, okay, I'm done sidetracking here.
Okay.
Just
You ready?
something that we may hear more about later.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Friday, September 19th, 1941. Display of the Aurora Borealis sweeps northwestern skies. Article here talks about many are being led to believe that has something to do with national defense. So they were asking questions about doing night tactics and things like that. It says right here that it interrupted lots of calls. It says right here, which I thought was interesting. For the capricious flickerings in the firmament played hob with wireless and cable connections practically around the globe and disrupted radio and telegraph services throughout much of the United States. The firmament played hob. Then down here, it was saying here that major communication systems reported the magnetic storm, for such is the term that scientists use to describe the apparent cause of the aurora borealis that struck communication from Europe as far east as Latin America, except for cables from London, which continued to flow uninterrupted. The staff of the New York cables desk of the Associated Press had one of its quietest nights since the war began. Down here, telegraph companies had their services affected seriously. For the first time, such a condition hit the Trans-Pacific facilities of the Bell telephone system. And then down here, most scientists believe that the aurora borealis is a manifestation of sunspots. The sunspots themselves appear to set up magnetic currents emanating earthward in a manner which slashes communication lines. This cross-current effect sometimes set up currents of considerable voltage in land lines. Interesting that that was all happening way back in 41.
Thoughts?
So the Aurora thing has been a thing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that the stuff that we're seeing with the Aurora is a distraction, but I also believe that it's a distraction from something that they're taking advantage of, something that they probably know when it's going to happen, plus or minus a couple of days, maybe. It's kind of like it was a magic trick to know when there was going to be an eclipse, right? And
Right.
people would take advantage of that because they had knowledge that other people did not, because they were aware of the timings of how the sun and the moon move and all that other stuff. So there's probably a timing that's related with that, and they may be taking advantage of stuff like that, but we wouldn't know because we're not given all of the information.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, Carol, aliens, and you know what? I know we're still waiting for some alien thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that's going to work, but I know that they're going to try aliens.
And I agree with Brother Bill. I think we're going to see military intervention very soon.
I believe so as well. There was just something. Didn't we play that yesterday about how they authorized, military force on civilians for certain
I
scenarios?
had another video for it, but they took it down.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You ready?
Yeah.
So, should we expect the federal government to come to the aid of citizens in need? Well, the short answer is no. Nowhere in the Constitution have the states delegated that power to the federal government. That power is to stay with the states, the people. Of their own free will, the states and the people can give a helping hand, but not the federal government. Well, that sounds a little harsh, doesn't it? Yet it was a farmer who helped explain this concept to his congressman from Tennessee sometime in the 1830s. Davy Crockett, the famous American frontiersman and war hero who died defending the Alamo, served 3 terms as a congressman. In a speech to the U.S. House, he recounted a visit that he had with a constituent during a campaign tour. The farmer told Crockett he would not vote for him again, as Crockett had shown his ignorance of the Constitution by voting to appropriate $20,000 to the victims of a fire in Georgetown. The farmer asked Crockett where in the Constitution did it authorize him to do so. Well, Crockett had to admit that there was no authorization, but thought it was charitable to do so. The farmer told him the public treasury should only have enough in it to cover the constitutional expenses of the federal government, and that it was not to be used as a charity. He said that if Congress had wanted to give the fire victims charity, then they should have dipped into their own pockets. The public money is not yours to give, he told Crockett. And the congressman admitted that this was a humbling lesson and publicly spoke about his mistake and took his service more seriously. Allowing the government to take on powers it was not constitutionally granted is dangerous, but necessary to install tyranny. America was built on self-reliance, but it wasn't every man for himself. Neighbors helped neighbors, and reliance on a fledgling government was unheard of. Today's heroic efforts by Americans in these disaster zones are indicative of our early roots.
Thoughts?
We used to see our government very differently than we do now. Like the Patriot Act should have never, ever happened. And there were a lot of people sounding the alarm bell with the Patriot Act, yet, so many of us, myself included, went along with it and said, yes, we need these things to protect us from this great mysterious threat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So apparently we needed a whole bunch of government that we realized that we didn't want to begin with in the first place before we realized that we had to take the responsibility on for ourselves. But then we had to recognize that the reason why we can't take care of things for ourselves is because there's just a small group of people who have been using the public purse against us this whole time to enrich themselves. $1 trillion deficit. You mean to tell me you think that every penny's going somewhere?
Please.
Please. That's a lot of damn money, even though it's not worth shit anymore because of them. But it's nice to
Good
know.
night, Wendy.
Oh, good night, Wendy. And then Mike says, I believe the second vote will be by the National Guard. 1-day voting, paper ballots, and counted by the Guard. I agree with you 100%, Mike. I believe that it's going to be a shit show. The military is going to have to come in because there's going to be civil unrest. They're going to have to lay down the law. Okay, we're going to do it like they did in Iraq. I believe you get one vote. You get your finger, you get it inked up. You go put your fingerprint on the person that you vote for.
Yep.
That's how it's going to work. And then it will be changed. But people have to see how ridiculous it is first before you can even allow the military to come in. Because I can tell you the military, the real service members, the real generals, the real officers, the real enlisted men, they know that they can't just go out and take over.
Exactly.
And that there has to be a very serious reason for the U.S. military. It is taken very seriously working on American soil. That's why you don't see the military out at the border. It's on our border.
Yep.
If the military was to be involved, they'd have to go on the Mexico side.
I know.
That's kind of an international incident.
Yeah.
Even though we have the international incident coming in now, but that's only because we had fallen asleep before.
Yeah. But we're awake now.
But we're awake now, and that's what'll make it work in the end.
Hmm.
Aaron says, all laws, including the Patriot Act, that are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. He doesn't obey them. Yeah, I understand. I also don't go through planes
Yeah.
anymore. So there's that.
They are lining their pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to pay the piper.
Yep.
Carol says our elections would be better if our media wasn't biased. And that's exactly why President Trump said that they're going to have to start paying for their air slots. And they need to. And we need to get off this digital crap. They need to be able to communicate over VHF like they used to. They probably need to simulcast on both.
Yep.
That's my thought. Steph says, look, Biden already called it, that it wasn't going to be a peaceful transition. He did say that, didn't he? It's a good point. Thank you, Steph. Bill says there's no way this can be just another business as usual election selection and have our people make the core changes we need to in order to secure our freedom and future. No, I don't believe it can be because we are so divided.
I know.
That chasm between us is not a good thing.
Exactly. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Sometimes the person you need the most is no longer here, but their love still whispers in your heart. It's in the quiet moments when you wish you could hear their voice, feel their embrace, or share one more conversation. Though they've crossed to a place beyond our reach, their memory lingers, guiding us, comforting us, reminding us that love never fades, it just changes form. Heaven holds their spirit, but here on earth, they still live in every memory, every smile, every tear we shed.
So, as soon as I heard that, I thought of my dad. I was 15. It's been 40 years. And every January 12th, I still cry. And every January 8th, or July 8th, I still celebrate his birthday. And I absolutely know that he watches over me. And I know that everything is going to be okay. Because I know, that with everything changing in the world right now and with people moving towards God, that God wins in the end. And that regardless of what we think, whether the election's going to happen on the 5th or on January 5th or whatever's going to happen, Trump is going to be our president. I just know it. I feel it in my gut. And I know that everything is going to turn around because this is a great awakening. And people are not only holding on to their loved ones who have passed and knowing that everything's going to be okay, but we also know that this is going to be the greatest years coming up. Because as my dad always said, as long as we stick together, nothing, and I do mean nothing, can stop us.
Beautiful. Energy can be neither created nor destroyed. It can only change form.
Yep.
I have lots of people that I've lost in my life. And it's difficult to deal with. But to understand that those people live on through us.
Yeah.
We help those people live on because we're able to bring their story forward.
Yeah.
And when we talk about these people, these loved ones that we've lost, they come alive in our heart again. And it wakes our heart up a little bit. And that love is still very real just because their form isn't the same way that we got used to on this plane of existence.
Yeah.
That love is still there. And that love is still very real because that means that there's some kind of a connection.
Yeah.
You can't love something that doesn't exist. You can have an infatuation, But that love, when you feel it again, they are still alive. That spark in your heart, that joy, that love that you feel is still just as real as it was when these people were here. Life is so much more than what we think it is, and there is an eternity to all of it. And love is the root of that all. It's okay to miss people, but know that they're still around, just not in a way that you're used to.
Right.
And let that closeness be real to you, because it's important not only for you, but for them. Because love is a communication that is unspoken.
Yes. And as long as we stick together, nothing can beat us.
100% true all the time. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you for joining us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. If you're over on Facebook, there's like 5.
Clickety,
I like
clickety.
the heart.
Anyways, thank you all for joining us. We love you all. Have a great night. Be safe, and God bless each and every one of you.